Hello team, my name's Monique. Welcome back to The Cauldron, and here are 23 books I would like to read in 2023. In case you didn't know, this Bookwitchreviews is my channel, and I occasionally think up of videos that I would like to do, and then it takes me absolutely ages to fill them. So I'm going to talk about 23 books that I would really like to read in 2023. These are books that are on my physical TBR. Some of them have been on my TBR for quite a long time and on my shelves for even longer, and some of them are newer, and I am now going to go through them in no particular detail or no particular order, and we're just going to talk very briefly about each of them, and then at the end of the year we're going to see how many of them I have actually read. So let's go. So first up, we have a book that I really want to read and have wanted to read for quite a while, and this is The Gottebrer by Gareth Hanrahan. I was sent this very generously by Justine from I Should Read That, whom I love and whom I trust with book recs, and she says that this is weird and wonderful, which means that I obviously want to read it. I believe that there's something creepy, Candleman, and the city that is like eternal. Man, that's all I got. It's adult fantasy and I want to read it. So we have a book that I've had for a really long time, and I don't like this cover, but every time I sort of think about getting rid of it, I then read the back and I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. So maybe I should read it. This is The Bells by Daniel Clayton, and it is about these sisters that control beauty, and beauty has a price, and I really need to read it because it has been on my shelves for so long. All of these have been on my shelves for a really long time, but you are going to hear me repeat. I really want to read it soon, several times. Next we have Morningstar by Pierce Brown, which is the third book in the Red Rising series, which is a sci-fi series that I absolutely adore, and I read the first two books and it was heartbroken, and now I'm scared to read the third book, but I know that there's a new book coming out and I still haven't caught up, so I sort of have to. Next, we have a book that haven't actually been on my TBR for that long, but I found it secondhand, which is always a win. And this is a memory called Empire by Arkady Martin. It is a sci-fi space opera where I believe that we are following an ambassador that gets sent to this new planet, where she then finds out that the ambassador before her was murdered, so she tries to figure out why exactly it was that he died. Next, I really want to reread Sabriel by Garth Nix. This is the very beautiful Daphne Press edition. Look at this stunner. It has its own slip case, and I believe I read Sabriel and the rest of the books in the series when I was much younger, but I cannot remember a word about it, so I may not actually have read them, because usually I can at least remember something, and I want to remember. Next, we have Soulless by Gail Carragher, which is a sort of urban fantasy, historical fantasy book where I believe this young woman sort of accidentally kills like a vampire, and then she has this grumpy werewolf who comes and looks after her because other people are now out to kill her. And I've just heard really good things. This is another secondhand copy that I picked up, and I want to read it. We have another sort of epic fantasy. This is The Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch, which I've also had on my TBR for way too long. I just really want to read this because it's supposed to be like heisty and sort of like found family, thief gang, and I love those. And we have more sci-fi. I have quite a lot of sci-fi and really intense fantasy on here. This is Bluebird by C.L. Pierlot, which I have heard nothing but amazing things about. It is sort of space cowboys and sapphics, and I really love this cover also. And it's just been on my TBR and on specific TBRs as well, too many times to count, and I should just get to it already. And like I said, there's absolutely zero rhyme or reason for the order that I'm saying these in. To begin with, I was going to do it with how long I've had the book for, and then I obviously messed them all up doing something else, so that's not how we're doing it. Next, we have The Girl King by Mimi Yu, which is a book that I had my eyes on for years in the bookshop, and then I finally got it, and it just keeps staring at me because it's so incredibly beautiful. And I believe that we are following sisters who, one of them is the heir to the throne when her father, the emperor, suddenly changes this sort of lineage that's going to follow him, and so she's not the heir anymore, and the other one is used to being in the shadows, and now suddenly she has a chance of maybe becoming emperor. And I just look at this, how do you not want to read it immediately? Next, we have Do You Dream of Terror 2 by Temi O, which I believe is a bunch of teenagers that get sent to another planet with a few adults, and then something goes wrong on the spaceship and they're like sort of stuck or something. But I've heard good things. This is a newer one. This is Twin Crowns by Catherine Doyle and Catherine Weber. We are following two princesses that have been split at birth. Yes, I enjoy that trope very much so. And I've just heard really, really good things about this YA fantasy. And I need some good YA fantasy in my life. Then we have another absolute chonker from Orbit. This is The Mask of Mirrors by M.A. Carrick, which is two authors together. And I believe one of them is Marie Brennan. I cannot remember who the other one is. Oh yeah, M.A. Carrick is a joint pen name of Marie Brennan, who is the author of The Memoirs of Lady Trent, which I really want to finish this year. And Alec Helms, who I don't know who is. I started reading this as an e-arc and really enjoyed it, but it was too heavy for my brain to compute at the moment. So I obviously then just bought it and also its sequel so that I could read it. And it's like super Venice Carnival inspired fantasy. I believe about a young woman who is trying to save herself and her sister from sort of ruin, but she's also a thief and a con artist. So yay. Then we have this absolute beauty. This is The Witch King by H.E. Edmond. This is about a young trans witch who runs away from his engagement to the Fae Prince, and then the Fae Prince comes after him because they need to get married. And I've heard nothing but amazing things, and I want to love it so badly. A book that I have read many moons ago, and that is Maggie Stiefwater's The Raven Boys, which many people on Book Talk and Bookstagram and Book Everywhere loves very intensely, and I want to love it too. I remember reading part of it, I think 10 years ago or more, maybe. I believe we are following Blue, and we are following a group of boys, and they're looking for King Arthur's grave or something along those lines, and magic and boys and girls and good stuff. And there's another secondhand book. I have a surprising amount of these, so yay me. Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Heist babies. And I've been meaning to read this for so long. I have now given up on reading the original trilogy first. If I ever want to read it, I will. But I'm just going to read this duology because I have it in these special editions with the red foil. And I just feel like I'm going to love some of these babies very much. I have another hype book. This is Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare, which is her latest series. I have these special edition covers that I absolutely adore. Have I read anything in the Shadowhunter universe other than City of Bones? Like ages ago. I read the first book in The Infernal Devices, I think, and I enjoyed it. And it's just sort of YA, urban fantasy, good stuff. These ones are historical fantasy also, and I just believe that people really enjoy them, and I want to enjoy them too. This is a book I've had for so long, and if I don't read it this year, it's gonna go out. Some of these will, absolutely. If I haven't read them by the end of the year. This is The Guinevere Deception by Kirsten White, which I got in an owl crate ages ago. And I believe that Guinevere comes in as sort of like a shapeshifter magic person, and sort of derails the whole like Arthurian legend. It's YA. I've heard good things, I've heard bad things. I just want to make up my own mind, and then I want to get rid of it if I don't love it, because it's just been staring at me for so long. Then we have The Candle and the Flame by Nafisa Assad, which is a book that I bought like years ago and really desperately want to read, and still do. Every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, I want to read that, and then I do not. I believe that we are in a fantasy world inspired by sort of like the Silk Road. And that's all I got. With here it says, a girl with the fire of a djinn, a city scarred by violence. I want to read it now. Coming up to the last stack, we have this book that I say all the time that I want to read, and then I just don't do it. This is She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chen, which is part of the Sapphic Trifecta, and I love the two other books so much, so I don't know why I haven't read this yet. This is a historical inspired adult fantasy where we are following, I believe, a daughter who takes her brother's place after he dies, and becomes like a general warrior priest person, something. I've heard very good things. I want to read it. Then we have another book that I sort of found accidentally secondhand. This is The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson, which I believe follows a young woman who is in a village that is sort of very religious. However, she finds out that her mother may or may not have been a witch, and the village killed her for it or something like that. I want to read it, or I want to get rid of it. We have Lobisona by Romina Garber, which I can't really remember what it's about. I believe there's like werewolves and like a portal magic sort of thing. I believe we're following this like young woman who finds out that she that yes, she is a werewolf or something. I just love this cover so much, and I've just heard really good things about it, but it just keeps slipping through my fingers. And then the last two is two books that I've also had for way too long, and if I don't read them, they're going out. This is All the Stars and Thief by Adeline Grace. Pirates and Storm, witchy magic. I believe it's like island fantasy. And I want to read it. Also, people say it's like really fast and easy and fun, and I just want to get there. And then last but not least, we have Sweet Black Waves by Christina Perez, which is a Tristan and Isolde retelling. Tristan and Isolde is sort of like a Juliet and Romeo and Juliet sort of thing. They're born in different clans, and Isolde finds Tristan injured on the beach. And I believe in this book we are following sort of like the handmaidens, so someone who helps them be together. And I want to read it because I've had it for 3-ish years or something like that. So that is 23 books that I would like to read in 2023, and please at least let me read some of the older ones so that I can choose whether or not they stay in the collection. But that is the video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully I'll actually edit it and put it up at one point, maybe one day. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, hit subscribe button at the same time so you don't miss out on any other videos from me. You can also click the little bell to give you a notification when I put up a new video, which I do sometimes. And then let me know down in the comments what books you would like to read in 2023. And then remember, I'm proud of you and you're doing great. And I'll see you soon with another video. Bye.